In the heart of Nevada's desolate expanse lies Groom Lake, a pale, cracked scar of earth, surrounded by jagged, sun-scorched mountains. This remote patch of desert is home to one of the most enigmatic and heavily guarded locations on the planet, Area 51. To the world, it's officially a testing ground for advanced aircraft, a cradle for America's most sophisticated aviation technology. But too many, it's something more. It's a lockbox of secrets, a place where the line between science fiction and reality blurs. The perimeter of this forbidden zone stretches 4 miles, marked by stern, unwelcoming signs, and a constant, unseen watch. Fences lined with motion detectors and cameras create an impenetrable barrier. Beyond them, armed guards, affectionately known as camos, for their camouflage uniforms, materialize from the desert haze, patrolling in unmarked vehicles. They are the silent gatekeepers, ensuring that no one gets too close. And it's not just the ground it's off limits. The sky above is a restricted box, a no-fly zone where any unauthorized aircraft is met with swift warnings and the threat of interception. This is a place that does not want to be seen. But why here? Why choose this barren, isolated lake bed in the middle of nowhere? The answer lies in the unique geography of the region. Groom Lake is a place, a dry lake bed with a surface so flat and hard it can serve as a natural runway for almost anything imaginable. It's perfect for landing experimental jets, stealth bombers, and perhaps something else entirely. The surrounding mountains create a natural shield, hiding the base from prying eyes and distant lenses. The vast, empty desert acts as a buffer zone, ensuring that no one can approach without being detected long before they reach the perimeter. It is, quite simply, the perfect place to hide. The official story is compelling enough. Area 51 was the birthplace of legendary aircraft like the U-2 spy plane and the F-117. Nighthawk, stealth, fighter. These were projects so advanced, so secret, that they needed a sanctuary far from the public eye. Engineers and test pilots pushed the boundaries of what was thought possible. Flying craft that looked and moved in ways never seen before. It's no wonder that these strange, silent shapes soaring through the desert sky sparked rumors. Many of the early UFO sightings in the area can be directly attributed to these top-secret test flights. The government, unable to reveal the truth, could only offer silence, inadvertently fueling the very speculation they sought to avoid. But the whispers persist, evolving into a modern mythology that has captured the global imagination. Stories of crashed alien spacecraft, reverse-engineered technology, and even extraterrestrial beings held captive within its underground hangars have become legendary. The tale of Bob Lazar, a man who claimed to have worked on alien propulsion systems at a nearby facility called as threw gasoline on the fire. He described flying saucers, gravity-defying maneuvers, and an element 115, that powered these otherworldly craft. While his claims have been widely debated and scrutinized, they cemented Area 51's status as the epicenter of UFO lore. Could there be a kernel of truth buried beneath the layers of myth and disinformation? The secrecy surrounding Area 51 is, in itself, a powerful magnet for curiosity. If it were just a testing ground for conventional aircraft, why the extreme measures? Why the decades of denial? The government's tight-lipped stance has created a vacuum, and human nature abhors a vacuum. We fill it with our questions, our fears, and our hopes. The idea that we are not alone in the universe is one of the most profound concepts we can contemplate, and Area 51 has become the physical manifestation of that possibility. The facility itself is a sprawling complex of hangars, runways, and buildings that have expanded significantly over the years, as seen in satellite imagery. What happens inside those windowless structures remains a matter of intense speculation. Are they developing the next generation of hypersonic drones and spy planes? Or are they, as some believe, trying to unlock the secrets of technology far beyond our own? The answer is likely a complex mix of both. The mundane and the extraordinary often live side by side in places like this. Today, Area 51 is more than just a military base. It's a cultural phenomenon. It has inspired countless books, movies, and TV shows. Tourists, known as believers, make pilgrimages to the dusty roads bordering the base, hoping to catch a glimpse of something unexplained in the night sky. The nearby town of Rachel, Nevada, has become an unofficial hub for UFO enthusiasts. Its main road aptly named the Extraterrestrial Highway. This place taps into a deep human need to believe in something beyond the ordinary, a desire for wonder in an often predictable world. So, what is the truth of Area 51? Is it a high-tech playground for our most advanced military projects, cloaked in secrecy to protect national security? Or is it a vault, holding the greatest secret in human history, that we have made contact with life from another world? Perhaps the real secret is that the mystery itself is the point. The ambiguity allows it to be whatever we need it to be. A symbol of government secrecy, a beacon of technological progress, or a monument to the possibility of the unknown. In the end, the sands of the Nevada desert hold their secrets close. Groom Lake remains a blank page on which we project our wildest theories and deepest questions. Whether it hides advanced human technology or secrets from the stars, one thing is certain. Area 51 will continue to be a place of intrigue. A forbidden desert that challenges us to look up at the sky and wonder what else is out there. The truth, as they say, is out there, and its address might just be in Nevada. Thank you so much for joining me on this journey into the heart of the mystery. If you enjoyed this deep dive, don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and ring the notification bell so you don't miss our next adventure. What do you think is hiding at Area 51? Let me know your theories in the comments below. Until next time, keep questioning. Have you ever looked up at the night sky and wondered if we're truly alone? For decades, one place on Earth has been at the very center of that question. A place shrouded in so much mystery that its very name is a whisper. Area 51, deep in the desolate Nevada desert. This remote patch of land holds secrets that have fueled our wildest imaginations and most intense debates. Today, we're pulling back the curtain as much as we can to peer into the shadows of secrecy that surround the world's most famous secret base. Area 51 isn't just a restricted area. It's a fortress of silence. The secrecy begins every morning in Las Vegas, at a private terminal at McCarran International Airport. Here, workers board a fleet of unmarked planes, often referred to as Jeanette Airlines, for their daily commute. They're flown into the heart of the desert, to a place that, for a long time, the U.S. government wouldn't even admit existed. Their schedules are tightly controlled, their tasks compartmentalized. They work in isolated zones, each person knowing only their small piece of the puzzle. This need-to-know basis ensures that even if someone did talk, they couldn't reveal the whole picture. It's a system designed for absolute secrecy, and it works flawlessly. Above the base, the sky itself is a no-go zone. The restricted airspace, designated R408N, is one of the most heavily monitored in the world. No civilian aircraft, no drones, no curious pilots dare to enter. The message is clear. Stay out. Violate this airspace, and you'll be greeted by Air Force jets so quickly you won't know what hits you. Down on the ground, the perimeter is just as imposing. Warning signs are posted everywhere, promising deadly force against trespass. But the real guardians of Area 51 are the legendary camo dudes. These security personnel patrolled the dusty roads in unmarked white pickup trucks, watching from distant ridges with high-powered binoculars. They appear as if from nowhere, ensuring no one lingers too long on the public roads that border the base, like the famous Extraterrestrial Highway. Their job is simple: observe, intimidate, and make sure the secrets stay secret. So, what is all this secrecy for? To understand the present, we have to look at the past. Area 51's history is a story of groundbreaking, top-secret aviation technology. This is where the legendary U-2 spy plane was developed and tested in the 1950s. This heel-tooter reconnaissance aircraft was a marvel of its time, flying at altitudes no one thought possible. Its strange, glider-like appearance and incredible capabilities led to a spike in UFO sightings in the region, as commercial pilots and ground observers saw something they simply couldn't explain. The government, unable to reveal the U-2 program, was happy to let people believe they were seeing flying saucers. The secrecy served a dual purpose. It protected national security and inadvertently created a modern legend. But the U-2 was just the beginning. In the 1960s, Area 51 became the testing ground for the A-12 Oxcart, the predecessor to the iconic SR-71 Blackbird. This was an aircraft that could fly at more than 3 times the speed of sound. A machine so advanced it looked like something from another world. Imagine seeing a sleek, black, triangular shape streaking across the desert sky in an era of propeller planes and early jets. It was, for all intents and purposes, an unidentified flying object. The base was built to hide these technological marvels, projects that were decades ahead of their time. The question that logically follows is a powerful one. If human ingenuity could create and hide such incredible machines back then, what are they hiding now? This is where the speculation explodes. For many, Area 51 is not just a place for testing advanced human aircraft. It's the place where the government studies technology that isn't human at all. The story that cemented this belief in popular culture came from a man named Bob Lazar. In 1989, Lazar came forward, claiming to have worked at a facility called located near Papoose Lake, just south of the main Area 51 base. He alleged his job was to reverse engineer the propulsion systems of captured alien spacecraft. He described flying saucers, advanced power sources, and a level of technology far beyond anything we possess. While Lazar's claims have been heavily scrutinized and are impossible to verify, they lit a fire in the public imagination that has never gone out. His story provided a tantalizing narrative, a possible answer to the question of what requires such extraordinary protection. Even without Lazar's claims, the physical layout of the base invites questions. Satellite images now readily available online show a sprawling complex that is constantly expanding. We see massive runways and hangars large enough to house not just jets, but something much, much bigger. Roads seem to disappear directly into the sides of hills, fueling theories of vast underground facilities. Are these entrances to subterranean labs and storage bays, far from the prying eyes of satellites? Could this be where alleged alien craft, like the one rumored to have crashed in Roswell, New Mexico, in 1947, are studied and kept? For believers, every strange feature on the satellite map is another piece of the puzzle, another hint that something extraterrestrial is being hidden from the world's gaze. Of course, there is a more grounded perspective. For skeptics and military analysts, Area 51 is exactly what it appears to be, a highly secure military test and training facility. The secrecy isn't to hide aliens. It's to hide the next generation of spy planes, stealth bombers, and advanced drone technology from foreign adversaries. The United States is constantly developing new military hardware, and it needs a remote, secure location to test it without tipping its hand. The disappearing roads could lead to underground munitions storage, and the large hangars are needed for aircraft like the B-21 Raider, the next-gen stealth bomber. From this point of view, the UFO stories are a convenient smoke, a perfect distraction that keeps people looking for little green men, while the real secrets matters of national defense remain safely hidden in plain sight. But even the most hardened skeptic has to admit, the silence is deafening. The complete and total blackout of information from the government creates a vacuum, and human nature abhors a vacuum. We fill it with stories, with hopes and fears. If all they are testing is new airplanes, why the extreme level of secrecy that goes beyond any other known military base? Why the quiet acknowledgments, followed by decades of denial? What could possibly require this level of protection, this fortress in the desert? Is it simply about maintaining a technological edge over other nations? Or is it because the truth is so reality-shattering, so profound, that the government believes we're not ready to hear it? Ultimately, Area 51 remains an enigma, a modern myth written in the sand and sky of the Nevada desert. It's a place where the cutting edge of human technology meets the outer limits of our imagination. It's both a military playground and a cathedral for believers. The shadows of secrecy that fall across this landscape are long and deep, and within them, anything seems possible. Whether it houses advanced drones or downed flying saucers, one thing is certain: Area 51 will continue to be a symbol of our endless curiosity and our fascination with the unknown. The truth is out there, as they say, but at Area 51, it's locked behind a very, very big door. Thanks for joining us on this deep dive into the mysteries of Area 51. What do you think's really going on out there? Let me know your theories in the comments below. If you enjoyed this journey into the unknown, please hit that like button. And don't forget to subscribe and turn on notifications so you won't miss our next adventure. We'll see you in the next video. Ever heard of a place so secret it officially doesn't exist? Today, we're journeying into the heart of the Nevada desert, to a story that turned a classified military base into the epicenter of UFO lore. This is the tale of Bob Lazar and the alleged secrets of Area 51's hidden cousin, S-4. Our story begins in 1989, a time of big hair and even bigger secrets. A man named Bob Lazar steps into the spotlight, interviewed by investigative journalist George Knapp. His claims are explosive, shattering the silence surrounding the infamous Area 51. Lazar alleges he was a physicist hired to work at a clandestine facility far more secret than Area 51 itself. He calls it S4, located near the desolate, dry bed of Papoose Lake, a stone's throw from the Groom Lake facility everyone knows. Imagine this. You're driven in a bus with blacked-out windows, deep into a restricted military zone. The bus pulls up to a series of hangars, ingeniously camouflaged, carved directly into the base of a mountain range. The doors slide open, and what you see inside defies all known laws of physics and human technology. This is the world Bob Lazar described. He claimed these hangars housed not one, but 9 distinct extraterrestrial vehicles, flying saucers. Lazar's story isn't just a vague account of seeing things. He provides astonishingly specific details. He focused on one craft, in particular, which he nicknamed the sports model. Picture a classic flying disc, about 52 feet in diameter. Its surface was a smooth, metallic silver, with no visible seams, rivets, or welds. It was as if the entire craft was molded from a single piece of otherworldly metal. When he was allowed inside, the interior was just as strange. The doorways were low, the chairs were tiny, almost child-sized, built for beings much smaller than the average human. 3 small seats, 3 small control panels. It was a cockpit designed for someone, or something, else. But the most mind-bending part of Lazar's testimony was his explanation of how these crafts worked. He claimed they weren't propelled by rockets or jets. Instead, they manipulated gravity itself. The power source, an element, he called element 115. At the time, in 1989, element 115 was purely theoretical. It hadn't been synthesized or officially recognized by the scientific community. Lazar described it as a stable, super-heavy element that, when bombarded with protons, produced antimatter. This antimatter reaction created a massive energy output, which in turn generated intense gravity waves. According to Lazar, the craft used 3 gravity amplifiers on its underside to focus these waves, allowing it to bend space and time for near-instantaneous travel across vast cosmic distances. It didn't fly through space. It pulled its destination towards it. Life at S4, as Lazar painted it, was a masterclass in paranoia and compartmentalization. He described a suffocating level of security, armed guards everywhere. His work was highly segmented. He was only given the information absolutely necessary for a specific task, preventing him from seeing the bigger picture. He read briefing documents detailing the history of alien involvement with Earth, spanning over 10,000 years, even suggesting that extraterrestrials had a hand in human evolution. It was a world straight out of science fiction, but for Lazar, it was his job. Naturally, the world reacted with a mix of awe and deep skepticism. Who was this Bob Lazar? The hunt for his background began immediately. Critics and debunkers went to work, and they found inconsistencies. Lazar claimed degrees from IT and Caltech, but neither institution had any record of him. He claimed to have worked at Los Alamos National Laboratory, and while a 1982 phone book did list him as an employee of a contractor there, his exact role was disputed. His academic and professional history seemed to crumble under scrutiny, leading many to dismiss him as a fraud, a fantasist looking for attention. Without a single piece of physical evidence, no photo, no document, no sample of element 115, his story was, for many, just that. A story. But here's where it gets complicated. Despite the holes in his personal history, certain aspects of his story were eerily accurate. He described the security protocols, the methods of transport, and the layout of the hidden base with a level of detail that seemed authentic. Italked about Flauker. as the security firm for Area 51, which was later confirmed. Years later, satellite imagery and other declassified information seemed to corroborate some of his geographical descriptions of the Papoose Lake area. How could a supposed fraud know these classified details? His supporters argued that his records were intentionally erased by the government to discredit him, a classic gaslighting tactic to silence a whistleblower. And what about Element 115? Here's a fascinating twist. In 2003, years after Lazar's claims, scientists did successfully synthesize Element 115, which was later named Moscovium. However, the version they created was highly unstable, with a half-life of milliseconds, a far cry from the stable version Lazar described. Still, the fact that an element he named out of thin air was eventually discovered gave his story a renewed flicker of credibility for some. Was he just a good guesser, or did he have inside knowledge of physics far beyond the public domain? The debate rages on to this day. Is Bob Lazar a courageous whistleblower who risked everything to tell humanity the truth? Or is he one of the most elaborate and convincing hoaxers of the 20th century? His story has been analyzed, dissected, and debated for over 3 decades. It inspired documentaries, TV shows, and fueled the public's obsession with Area 51, transforming it from a shadowy military installation into the mythical home of alien secrets. One thing is certain: Bob Lazar's account, whether fact or fiction, fundamentally changed the conversation about UFOs. He gave the phenomena a tangible location, a supposed mechanism, and a human face. He took the idea of alien visitors out of the realm of distant lights in the sky and placed it squarely within the secret hangars of the United States government. He made us wonder what else might be hidden in the desert, under the watchful eye of armed guards and behind doors that warn of deadly force. So what do you think? Did Bob Lazar really work on alien technology in a secret base carved into a mountain? Or was it all a grand deception? The truth, much like the S4 facility itself, remains hidden, buried somewhere deep in the Nevada desert. The alien whisper he started in 1989 continues to echo, challenging what we believe about our world and our place in the universe. Thanks for joining me on this deep dive into one of modern history's greatest mysteries. If you found this story as fascinating as I do, make sure to hit that like button and subscribe for more journeys into the unknown. Let me know your theory about Bob Lazar in the comments below. Until next time, keep looking up. Ever feel like the world has secrets it's not sharing? We're going deep inside the hidden hangars of Area 51, a place shrouded in so much secrecy it has fueled a universe of speculation. But over the decades, whispers and eyewitness accounts have painted a much stranger picture. Join me as we piece together the puzzle and explore the stories that suggest these hangars might hold secrets from beyond our world. The desert sun is relentless, but inside the sprawling complex of Area 51, the air is cool and the shadows run deep. The door is slightly ajar. Curiosity gets the better of you. You push it open and step inside. Underneath a massive tarp, you see a shape that makes no sense. It's not a plane. It's not a helicopter. There are no rivets, no welds, no visible means of propulsion. They don't say a word, just escort you out. Their expressions making it clear you saw something you were never meant to see. This isn't a scene from a movie. It's the summarized account of a real contractor who broke his silence years later. And he's not the only one. Some insiders speak of massive surface hangars, capable of housing aircraft the size of commercial airliners. But what's stored inside isn't for commercial travel. These aren't just idle rumors. They come from engineers, pilots, and security personnel who claim to have worked there. They talk about a fleet of recovered or reverse-engineered vehicles, each one a technological marvel. They're buried deep underground. According to multiple whistleblowers, the main base is just the tip of the iceberg. Beneath the desert floor lies a sprawling, multi-level facility. A veritable underground city dedicated to dissecting and understanding alien technology. It's here, in these sterile, subterranean environments, that the most extraordinary secrets are kept. In another, teams of scientists in clean suits meticulously analyze a material that is impossibly light, yet stronger than any known alloy, taking apart these otherworldly machines, piece by piece, to understand how they work. These are the questions they are trying to answer. Far from prying eyes and satellite surveillance, Lazar described hangars built directly into the side of a mountain, cleverly disguised to look like the natural desert landscape. He explained how the craft operated on an exotic element, Element 115, which at the time had not even been synthesized in a lab. Lazar's descriptions of the craft's interior, its single, flowing piece of construction, and its mind-controlled navigation system were unlike anything known at the time. Area 51 has a documented and declassified history of developing some of the most advanced and unconventional aircraft in the U.S. arsenal. Each of these projects was top secret in its day, and their unique designs could easily be mistaken for something. Could the black triangles that people report seeing simply be the next generation of stealth bombers or reconnaissance drones being tested in the Nevada night sky? It is a place where engineers are encouraged to think outside the box and create prototypes that look and perform like nothing before them. This is the official and most logical explanation. What people are seeing are simply the cutting edge of human innovation, cloaked in necessary secrecy. But this explanation starts to fray at the edges when you look closer at the details of the eyewitness accounts. It's another entirely to be a physicist working on its propulsion system, or a contractor who gets an up-close look at a seamless, rivetless hull. We're talking about right-angle turns at Mach 5, instantaneous acceleration to hypersonic speeds, and hovering in complete silence. Human-made prototypes, no matter how advanced, must still adhere to those laws. On one hand, we have the logical explanation. Area 51 is testing advanced, but human-made, secret aircraft. Something extraterrestrial. The stories from inside the hidden hangars of seamless disks and subterranean labs clash directly with the official narrative. But what if, in its deepest, most secure vaults, it holds the keys to a much bigger secret, a program to study and replicate technology from visitors who are not from this planet. It's not just about protecting military secrets. It's about protecting a reality-altering truth. The gates of Area 51 will likely remain closed to the public. Whether these hangars hold advanced human prototypes or relics from another star system, one thing is certain. What is happening in the Nevada desert is pushing the boundaries of what we believe is possible. Thank you so much for joining me on this deep dive into one of history's greatest mysteries. What do you think is hiding in those hangars? Let me know your theories in the comments below. If you enjoyed this exploration, please give this video a thumbs up and consider subscribing to the channel for more content like this. We're just scratching the surface, and there's so much more to uncover. Stay curious, and I'll see you in the next video. Beyond the fences and warning signs of Area 51, the vast, empty Nevada desert stretches 4 miles by day. It's a landscape of rock and dust, but by night it becomes a theater for the unexplained. For decades, the skies over this restricted zone have been telling stories that defy easy answers. Ranchers leaning on their truck beds, hikers catching their breath on a high ridge, and dedicated UFO enthusiasts with telescopes have all seen them. Strange, silent lights that dance in the darkness. These aren't your typical airplanes. Witnesses describe glowing orbs that hover motionless for minutes, then dart across the sky at speeds that would tear a conventional aircraft. Apate described lights that appear out of nowhere and vanish in the blink of an eye. The sheer volume and consistency of these reports, spanning over half a century, make you wonder what's really going on out there. Are these just misidentified satellites? Or is there something more to the legend of America's most secret base? Let's travel back to the 1980s. Picture this: a lone prospector, searching for his fortune under the desert moon. He's miles from the nearest town, the only sounds being the wind and the crunch of his boots on the gravel. Suddenly, he looks up and sees it, a massive oval-shaped object gliding silently, just a few hundred feet above the ground. Its edges emit a soft, pulsing blue glow, casting an eerie light on the sagebrush below. It moves without a sound, a silent giant against the starry backdrop. Before he can even fully process what he's seeing, it slips behind a distant ridge and disappears. Just minutes later, the silence is shattered by the thumping of helicopter blades as military choppers sweep the area, their searchlights cutting through the darkness. Coincidence, or a rapid response to a secret that got seen? This story isn't unique. It's one of countless similar accounts from that era. People living on the fringes of the Nevada test and training range got used to seeing things they could unexplain. But the arrival of security forces so quickly after a sighting adds another layer to the mystery. It suggests that whatever is flying out there is being watched, and its observers don't want any witnesses. This pattern of a strange sighting, followed by a swift military presence, has become a hallmark of the Area 51 experience. It transforms a simple light in the sky into a potential piece of a much larger, classified puzzle. Now, let's jump forward to the 1990s, a decade when shows like The X-Files brought the paranormal into the mainstream and public fascination with Area 51 hit an all-time high. A group of hikers decided to camp out on Tikaboo Peak, a mountain that offers a distant but direct line of sight into the base. They set up their cameras and waited, hoping to catch a glimpse of something extraordinary. And the desert didn't disappoint. As they watched the horizon, a single, brilliant point of light appeared over Groom Lake. It wasn't moving like a star or a plane. It pulsed, growing brighter and then dimmer, almost as if it were breathing. Then, without warning, it did something impossible. The light shot straight up, accelerating at an incredible speed and at an angle that defies our known laws of physics and aerodynamics. It wasn't a graceful ascent. It was a violent, instantaneous burst of movement that left the hikers stunned into silence. There was no sonic boom, no trail of smoke, just a light that was there 1 second and gone the next. What kind of technology could allow for that kind of maneuver? Is this evidence of advanced propulsion systems being tested far from prying eyes? Or does the explanation lie somewhere beyond our current understanding of science? The hikers packed up their gear, their minds racing. They'd come seeking a mystery, and they found one far stranger than they could have imagined. The airspace where these sightings occur is the most restricted in the United States, perhaps even the world. It's known as the Box, or Dreamland. Flying a private plane into this area is unthinkable, and the consequences would be severe. This isn't just a no-fly zone. It's a fortress in the sky, protected by advanced radar and patrolled by fighter jets. So, whatever these lights are, they have permission to be there. They are either part of the military's own fleet, or they are something so advanced that our own military can't stop them. The official explanation, when one is given it all, usually points to experimental drones or next-generation aircraft. And that's certainly plausible. Area 51 has a long and proven history as a testing ground for cutting-edge aviation technology. The U-2 spy plane, the SR-71 Blackbird, and the F-117 Nighthawk stealth fighter were all developed and tested there in secret, long before the public knew they existed. Each of these aircraft was revolutionary for its time and likely responsible for many UFO sightings. A person in the 1960s seeing a black, triangular shape flying at 3 times. The speed of sound would have no frame of reference for it. It would have looked completely alien. So, are the lights seen today just the 21st century equivalent of the Blackbird? Are we seeing the prototypes of hypersonic drones or 6th-generation fighters? It's a very logical explanation, but does it cover all the sightings? What about the silent hovering, the rectangle turns, the instantaneous acceleration? These behaviors do match the flight characteristics of even the most advanced jets or drones we know about. Conventional aircraft need lift and propulsion. They make noise. They follow certain aerodynamic principles. The objects described in these reports seem to operate on a different set of rules entirely. This discrepancy is what keeps the debate alive. It's the gap between what we know is possible and what people swear they have seen. Could the government be decades, maybe even centuries, ahead of the technology they reveal to the public? Or is the truth even stranger, pointing to technology that didn't originate on Earth? And then there are the camo dudes. This is the unofficial name given to the mysterious security patrols that monitor the perimeter of Area 51. They drive unmarked white Jeep Cherokees and are known for their intimidating presence. They wear camouflage uniforms with no insignia, making it impossible to know which agency they work for. Their job is simple: keep people away. If you get too close to the border, they will find you. They don't make arrests, but they'll observe you, sometimes for hours, from a distance with high-powered binoculars. They ensure that hikers, campers, and UFO hunters don't linger too long or point their cameras in the wrong direction. Their presence confirms that there is something worth protecting out there. But they also add to the folklore. Many people who have been intercepted by the Camo Dudes report a strange, almost surreal experience. These guards are professional and firm, but their secrecy is unsettling. They are a physical manifestation of the wall of silence that surrounds Area 51. They are the gatekeepers, the men in the shadows who ensure that what happens in Dreamland stays in Dreamland. But even they can't put a lid on the sky. Despite their constant patrols, the lights keep appearing and people keep watching. The Camo Dudes can stop you from crossing a line on the ground, but they can't stop you from looking up and wondering, so what are these lights in the desert sky? Are they simply the next generation of secret military aircraft, continuing the legacy of the U-2 and SR-71? Is the government testing revolutionary drone technology or radical new propulsion systems? This is the most logical and widely accepted theory among skeptics, and even many believers. Or could these lights be something else? The product of reverse-engineered technology not of this world, as some of the more sensational theories suggest. The truth is, we don't know, and that's the enduring power of Area 51. The mystery is fueled by the combination of credible witnesses, unexplainable aerial, phenomena, and intense government secrecy. Every strange light, every silent orb, every impossible maneuver adds another chapter to the story. The desert holds its secrets close, but the sky above it continues to put on a show for those patient enough to watch. The lights keep appearing, a silent, glowing testament to the mysteries that still exist in our world, hidden in plain sight above the Nevada desert. What do you think? Are these lights advanced human technology, or evidence of something more? Let me know your theories down in the comments. Thanks for joining me on this journey into the heart of America's biggest mystery. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe for more deep dives into the unexplained. Stay curious and keep watching the skies. We've all heard the stories about Area 51. The strange lights in the sky, the heavily armed guards, the absolute, impenetrable wall of secrecy. But what if the real secrets aren't on the surface? What if the most mind-bending mysteries are hidden deep beneath the Nevada desert? Today, we're going underground, into the rumored subterranean world of America's most classified military base. Beneath the dusty runways and stark hangars, a parallel world is said to exist. Insiders, whistleblowers, and former employees have painted a picture of a sprawling underground complex, a labyrinth of tunnels and vaults stretching for miles in every direction. This isn't just a bunker. It's an entire hidden civilization dedicated to secrets. Think about it. A facility this advanced wouldn't just be on the surface, exposed to spy satellites and prying eyes. Their real work, they really don't want us to see, would be buried deep within the earth, shielded by tons of rock and soil. Imagine elevators that don't just go up and down a few floors. We're talking about descents into the earth, protected by security measures straight out of a science fiction movie. Retinal scanners, voice print identification, pressure plates layers upon layers of security designed to ensure that only the most trusted personnel can access what lies below. Once you're through, you're not in a normal military facility. You're in a place where the laws of physics are allegedly being written. According to some accounts, these underground levels are a maze of laboratories, workshops, and storage bays. One engineer, speaking under the condition of anonymity, described his job as analyzing a strange, metallic fragment. He said it was impossibly light, yet stronger than any known alloy. But the truly bizarre property was how it interacted with light, bending it in ways that seemed to defy optics. He was never told what it was or where it came from. He was just given a task, a piece of an impossible puzzle, and sworn to absolute secrecy. His story is just one of many that have leaked out over the years. Another persistent rumor is the existence of a vast, high-speed tunnel network connecting Area 51 to other secret installations across the country. Think of it as a subterranean highway system for top-secret cargo. Why risk transporting highly sensitive materials or even non-terrestrial visitors by air or road when you could move them completely unseen? miles beneath the surface. Tunnels allegedly connect Area 51 to places like the Naval Air Weapons Station, China Lake in California, or even deep within the mountains of Colorado. It's a logistical network of shadows designed for perfect discretion. Now, you might be thinking, where's the proof? And that's the million-dollar question. Direct evidence is, by design, impossible to obtain. But there are tantalizing clues. Independent geological surveys of the region have shown anomalies large, excavated spaces deep underground that don't correspond to any known natural formations or publicly acknowledged projects. Then there are the roads around the base that lead to nowhere, ending abruptly at a sheer cliff face or a hillside. Are these just abandoned construction projects, or are they cleverly disguised entrances to the underground maze, waiting for the right signal to open? Of course, skeptics have their explanations. They argue that these underground facilities are nothing more than Cold War-era bunkers, built to protect conventional, human-made technology and personnel in the event of a nuclear attack. Tunnels. Simply for secure transport of advanced but entirely terrestrial prototypes, like stealth aircraft. They contend that the extreme secrecy is necessary to protect cutting-edge military secrets from foreign adversaries, not to hide alien spacecraft. And to be fair, that's a plausible explanation. The Cold War was a time of immense paranoia and unprecedented military spending. But does that explanation fully satisfy the evidence? Many who have studied Area 51 for decades say no. The level of secrecy, the sheer scale of the rumored construction, and the consistency of whistleblower testimonies seem to point to something more. The stories aren't just about advanced jets. They're about reverse engineering technology that is fundamentally alien. They speak of cryo-storage facilities, medical bays for non-human subjects, and power sources that defy our understanding of energy. Protecting a new stealth bomber is one thing. Hiding proof that we are not alone in the universe is another. And the level of security at Area 51 feels more suited to the latter. Let's consider the materials. The engineer who described the light-bending metal wasn't the only one. Others have spoken of memory metals that can be crumpled into a ball and then unfold back to their original shape without a single crease. There are tailies of fiber optic-like cables that seem to transmit data without any light source, and alloys that can change their temperature from freezing to boiling in an instant. These aren't just incremental improvements on existing tech. They represent a quantum leap in materials science. If humanity had developed this technology on its own, where are the commercial applications? Where are the patents? The secrecy suggests an external origin. The theory goes that a crashed extraterrestrial vehicle, or perhaps several, provided the raw materials and the technological blueprint. The underground labs at Area 51 are where this technology is painstakingly deconstructed, studied, and replicated. It's a slow, methodical process. You can't just take an alien anti-gravity device and slap it onto a fighter jet. You have to understand the physics, the metallurgy, the power source. This would explain why, decades after the supposed Roswell crash, we are still only seeing gradual advancements in our own public-facing technology. The real breakthroughs are happening in secret underground. So what does this underground world look like? Based on various accounts, it's a multi-level facility. The upper levels might be dedicated to more conventional projects, providing a layer of plausible deniability. But the deeper you go, the more exotic the work becomes. Some have described clean rooms where captured or recovered craft are stored, including the infamous flying saucers. Other levels are said to house living quarters for personnel who might spend weeks or even months underground, completely cut off from the outside world to ensure total secrecy. The Enigma of Area 51's underground complex is the perfect conspiracy theory because it asks almost impossible to definitively prove or disprove. The government will never confirm it, and any evidence that emerges is immediately challenged. But the whispers persist. They come from engineers, pilots, and security personnel who claim to have seen things they can't explain. They are supported by geological oddities and infrastructural clues on the surface. Is it all just a myth? A modern-day legend born from Cold War paranoia? Or, deep beneath the Nevada desert, Is there a hidden world where the future is being built from the wreckage of the past that is Una, from this world? The truth, as they say, might be out there. Or in this case, it might be right under our feet. What do you believe is hidden beneath Area 51? Let me know your theories in the comments below. If you enjoyed this deep dive into one of the world's greatest mysteries, make sure to hit that like button and subscribe for more content that questions everything. Thanks for watching, and stay curious. Have you ever stared up at the night sky and wondered, are we truly alone? For decades, one patch of Nevada desert has held the world captive with that very question. We all know the name Area 51, but the most chilling secret whispered about this place is about sleek, silver flying saucers, or reverse-engineered propulsion systems. It's about something far more profound, something biological. The most shocking claim about Area 51 isn't about machines, it's about baddies. Imagine, deep beneath the sun-scorched earth, in a labyrinth of sterile, refrigerated vaults, lies the ultimate secret. The remains of visitors from another world. Stories, passed down through hushed conversations and anonymous leaks, paint a consistent, eerie picture. They speak of alien bodies, recovered from alleged crash sites like the infamous Roswell incident in 1947, preserved in cryogenic stasis. These aren't just rumors, they are detailed accounts from people who claim to have been there. What do these alleged witnesses describe? The descriptions are remarkably similar, even across decades. They talk about small, gray beings with frail, thin limbs and disproportionately large, hairless heads. Their most prominent features, those large, dark, almond-shaped eyes that seem to hold the wisdom of the cosmos. The beings are said to be stored in sealed, transparent chambers, bathed in a cold, blue light, a silent testament to a truth staggering for the world to handle. One of the most compelling stories comes from a man who claimed to be a medic stationed at the base. He described being led into a secure, underground medical bay. There, on a table, lay a humanoid figure. It was alive, he insisted, but its life force was fading. He said his job was simply to monitor its vital signs, watching as a life form from another star system took its final breaths on our world. He spoke of the overwhelming sense of awe and sorrow that filled the room. Whether this is a fabricated memory or a genuine confession, the detail and emotion in his account are undeniably powerful. Of course, we can't talk about alien bodies without mentioning the 1995 Alien autopsy film. The grainy, black and white footage purported to show the dissection of an extraterrestrial recovered from Roswell. It captivated millions and became a cultural phenomenon overnight. We saw scientists in biohazard suits cutting into a strange, pot-bellied creature, revealing bizarre internal organs. The film ignited a firestorm of debate. Was this the smoking gun everyone had been waiting for? Years later, the film's creator admitted it was a reconstruction, a recreation of footage he claimed to have seen, but that had since degraded. Essentially, he confessed, it was a hoax. The debunking was a huge blow to the believers' community. Skeptics pointed to it as definitive proof that all such stories were just elaborate fantasies. Yet, the film had already seared a powerful image into the public consciousness. For many, it didn't matter if that specific film was fake. It visualized what they had long suspected was happening in secret. It fanned the flames of the legend, making the idea of an alien morgue at Area 51 more tangible than ever. So, where does that leave us? With a collection of incredible stories and a mountain of skepticism. The official explanation for many of these alien body sightings points to anthropomorphic test dummies. During the Cold War, the Air Force conducted high-altitude parachute tests using dummies, codenamed Operation High Dive. These dummies were designed to simulate human pilots, and when they fell from the sky, their mangled forms could easily be mistaken for something not of this Earth. Skeptics argue that every alien body story can be traced back to one of these dummies, or is simply an outright hoax, preying on our desire to believe. But can test dummies really explain everything? Can they account for the consistency in descriptions from seemingly unconnected witnesses over more than 70 years? The small, gray figures with large heads and eyes, that image predates much of the modern UFO craze. Can a hoax explain the emotional testimony of the alleged medic who watched a being die? These eyewitness accounts suggest that Area 51 isn't just a testing ground for advanced aircraft, a simple tech lab. They suggest it's something more, a biological archive, a library of life from beyond our planet. This transforms the narrative completely. If true, it means the government isn't just hiding technology. It's hiding the answer to the most fundamental question of our existence. It implies a level of secrecy and control that is almost unimaginable. Why hide it? To prevent mass panic, to control the biological and technological secrets the bodies might hold. Or is it because the truth is simply too complex for us to comprehend? Perhaps the beings weren't just recovered bodies, but diplomats, explorers, or even refugees. The narrative of Area 51 as a morgue is powerful because it touches on our deepest fears and hopes. The fear of the unknown, and the hope that we are part of a much larger, more incredible cosmic story. The desert, with its vast, empty spaces and silent, starry nights, is the perfect backdrop for such a profound secret. It's a place where the line between reality and myth has become hopelessly blurred. While skeptics demand hard evidence, believers hold on to the power of these persistent whispers. They argue that in a place as secret as Area 51, eyewitness testimony and leaked stories are the only evidence we're ever likely to get. The fact that these stories have endured, evolving yet remaining consistent at their core, is, for them, proof in itself. It's a modern-day legend, a testament to our enduring fascination with the unknown. So, what do you believe? Is Area 51 just a high-tech playground for the military, its secrets confined to engines and aerodynamics? Or, hidden beneath the sand and secrecy, does it hold a physical proof of extraterrestrial life? A silent, refrigerated tomb where the whispers of alien life are not just a metaphor, but a cold, hard reality waiting to be revealed. The truth, as they say, might be out there, or it might be locked away in a cryogenic vault deep in the Nevada desert. Thank you so much for joining me on this journey into one of the world's greatest mysteries. If you enjoyed this deep dive, make sure to hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and ring the notification bell so you don't miss our next exploration into the unknown. What do you think's hidden at Area 51? Let me know your theories in the comments below. Until next time, keep looking up. What really goes on inside Area 51? Forget the wild alien autopsy videos and crazy CGI spaceships you see online. The most chilling, the most compelling stories don't come from grainy photos taken from a distant mountain. They come from the whispers of those who have actually been inside the wire, the ones who clocked in every day at the world's most secret military base. These are the insider voices, and their fragmented tales paint a picture far stranger than any Hollywood movie. Imagine this. It's the late 1960s, the height of the Cold War. You're a young radar technician, barely out of your teens, stationed in the middle of the Nevada desert. Your job is to stare at a glowing green screen, tracking every blip that crosses the sky. One night, you see something impossible. A cluster of lights appears out of nowhere. Zipping across your screen at speeds that defy physics. They make right-angle turns that would tear any known aircraft apart you call it in, your voice trembling with a mix of fear and excitement. Te responds. Cold, hard silence. Later, your commanding officer pulls you aside. You saw nothing, he says, his eyes boring into yours. That blip was a weather balloon anomaly. You will not speak of this again to anyone. Ever. You spend the rest of your career seeing things that should unexist and learning the most important lesson of Area 51. Silence is survival. This isn't a one-off story. These accounts, often shared anonymously, decades later, echo each other. Let's talk about a security guard. A guy who spent years patrolling the perimeter, thinking he was just guarding advanced but conventional aircraft. One stormy night, a gust of wind whips through a hangar, lifting the corner of a massive tarp. For just a few seconds, he sees it. No rivets, no seams, no weld lines. Just a smooth, matte black hole that seems to absorb the light around it. It looks less like something built and more like something grown, before he can even process what he's seeing. Two men in unmarked uniforms are on him. They don't say a word, just grab his arms and escort him away. The next day, he's reassigned to a gatepost miles from the hangars. He never gets close again. But that image of a seamless craft is burned into his memory forever. What about the materials? We hear stories about wreckage, but what about the raw components? A civilian contractor, a specialist in metallurgy, was brought in for a single, highly classified project. He was led into a sterile, windowless room and handed a small sheet of metal. It was incredibly light, almost weightless. His instructions were simple. Analyze its properties. He bent it. It folded like a piece of paper. He creased it hard, expecting a permanent line. But when he let go, it sprang back to its original shape, perfectly flat, without a single mark or crease. He tried to cut it, to scratch it, to heat it. Nothing worked. Nothing worked. The material seemed indestructible, yet impossibly malleable. He filed his report, describing a substance with properties that violated known material science. He was paid handsomely, signed a mountain of non-disclosure agreements, and was sent home. He was never contacted again. These aren't the guys trying to sell you a book or get on a TV show. Many of these stories come from deathbed confessions, anonymous letters, or third-hand accounts from family members who were sworn to secrecy. The common thread is the culture of extreme compartmentalization. A technician working on a navigation system has no idea what the propulsion team is doing down the hall. A security guard knows his patrol route, and nothing more. The base is designed like a maze of secrets, where each person holds only one tiny piece of an enormous puzzle. Curiosity isn't just discouraged, it's actively punished. Asking the wrong question could mean losing your security clearance, your job, and being blacklisted from the entire defense industry. Of course, skeptics have their explanations. They argue it's all part of a sophisticated disinformation campaign. The alien stories are a convenient cover for top-secret spy planes, like the U-2 and the SR-71 Blackbird. By encouraging UFO rumors, the government could icily dismiss any genuine sightings of their advanced technology. Oh, you saw weird lights in the sky. Must be little green men, they'd say, all while they were testing aircraft that could fly at the edge of space. It's a brilliant strategy, really. Misdirect the public with aliens to hide the real secrets. Others suggest it's just human nature, exaggerating mundane events over time, turning a weather balloon into a flying saucer in the retelling. But even if you account for disinformation and exaggeration, the consistency in the details is hard to ignore. Why do so many independent, unconnected sources describe the same things? The seamless, organic-looking holes, the silent, instantaneous acceleration, the otherworldly materials that defy our understanding of physics, the overwhelming sense of dread and the crushing weight of enforced silence. When a radar tech from the 60s, a guard from the 80s, and a contractor from the 90s all describe elements that line up, it starts to feel less like coincidence and more like a pattern. These insiders describe a place where two realities exist. On the surface, it's a place for developing next-generation human technology. But beneath that, lurking in the deepest, most secured levels, they hint at something else. Something not of this world. They don't claim to have all the answers. They didn't sit down and have coffee with an extraterrestrial. They just saw something, a blip on a screen, a glimpse under a tarp, a piece of metal in their hands that told them the official story was a lie. The true story of Area 51 may not be one of grand conspiracies, but of thousands of individual secrets locked away in the minds of the men and women who worked there. Each one a tiny spark of truth in a vast desert of deception. They live with the knowledge that they were part of something extraordinary, something world-changing, but they can never speak its name. Their silence is the most powerful evidence of all. It tells us that whatever is hidden in the heart of Area 51 is a secret worth protecting at any cost. And perhaps it's a secret that we, the public, are not yet ready to know. The voices of these insiders, even in their hushed and fearful whispers, challenge us to keep asking questions, to keep looking up at the sky and to wonder what truths are still waiting to be discovered out there in the desert. Thanks for watching. If you found this journey into the secrets of Area 51 as fascinating as I did, do you forget to hit that like button and subscribe for more deep dives into the world's greatest mysteries. Let me know in the comments what you think is really going on at Area 51. I'll see you in the next video. Have you ever looked up at the night sky and felt a shiver run down your spine? A feeling that you're not just looking at stars, but that something is looking back. For decades. One patch of sky has fueled this feeling more than any other. The airspace above Area 51 in the Nevada desert. This isn't just any restricted area. It's designated R for 808, NA, one of the most fiercely protected no-fly zones on the planet. Yet, despite the ironclad control, the skies here are alive with mystery. Strange lights dance in the darkness, silent, erratic, and seemingly defying the known laws of physics. Tonight, we're not just talking about blurry photos or secondhand stories. We're diving deep into credible eyewitness accounts, declassified documents, and expert analysis to unravel what's really happening in the skies of secrets. We'll explore the chilling encounters of seasoned pilots, the baffling observations of trained military personnel, and the dedicated sky watchers who spend their nights staring into the void, hoping to catch a glimpse of the unknown. So, grab your headphones, dim the lights, and prepare to question everything you thought you knew about what's flying above our heads. This is the story of the lights above Area 51. Let's start with a story that will make the hair on your arms stand up. Imagine you're a commercial airline pilot, a veteran with thousands of hours in the cockpit. You're flying a routine route near the edge of the R4808 and airspace. It's a clear, moonless night. Suddenly, a single, brilliant orb of light appears off your wing. It's not another plane. There's no navigation strobe, no engine noise picked up on communications, nothing on your transponder. It, just hangs there, pacing your aircraft perfectly. You bank left, it mirrors you. You climb, it climbs with you. It's a silent, intelligent dance at 30,000 feet. Then, in the blink of an eye, it accelerates from a dead stop to a speed that would tear any conventional aircraft apart and vanishes over the horizon. This isn't science fiction. This is a condensed version of multiple reports filed by professional pilots, men and women whose careers depend on their sober, accurate observations. TC pilots, often reluctant to speak publicly for fear of ridicule or professional repercussions, describe these encounters with a mix of awe and terror. What could possibly perform such maneuvers? The experiences aren't limited to the air. On their ground, a small, dedicated community of observers congregates on vantage points like Tikaboo Peak, the closest legal spot to view the base. Armed with powerful telescopes and long-exposure cameras, these skywatchers have documented phenomena that defy easy explanation. One of the most common sightings is the glowing triangle. Imagine a massive, dark, triangular shape, outlined by 3 steady lights at its corners and a larger, pulsating red or white light in the center. It moves with an eerie silence, gliding slowly over the desert floor before stopping to hover motionless for minutes on end. Then, without a sound, it shoots straight up into the stars, disappearing in an instant. These reports are so consistent, so numerous, that it's hard to dismiss them as simple misidentification. These aren't just swamp gas or weather balloons. They are structured, intelligently controlled objects performing maneuvers that push the boundaries of our understanding, of course. The skeptical and logical explanation is always on the table. We are witnessing the next generation of top-secret military technology. Area 51 has a legendary history as the birthplace of black projects. The U-2 spy plane, the SR-71 Blackbird, and most famously, the F-117 Nighthawk stealth fighter were all developed and tested here in absolute secrecy. In the 1980s, before the F-117 was unveiled, people reported seeing bizarre, angular black shapes flying silently at night, performing impossible turns. They sounded crazy, like something out of a movie. Then, in 1988, the Pentagon revealed the Nighthawk, and suddenly, Those crazy stories made perfect sense. The public was seeing a craft so advanced it looked alien. So, could these modern-day sightings, the silent orbs, the hovering triangles simply be the 21st century equivalent of the F-117? Are we getting a sneak peek at a next-generation stealth drone? Perhaps something like the rumored TR-3B Astra? Proponents of this theory argue that the silent flight could be achieved with advanced electromagnetic propulsion systems, and the right-angle turns could be possible with vectored thrust or even gravity manipulation technology. It's a compelling argument. The military is always decades ahead of what the public knows. It's entirely plausible that what people are seeing is the bleeding edge of human engineering, a technology so revolutionary it appears otherworldly to the untrained eye. This explanation fits the location, the secrecy, and the history of Area 51 perfectly. It accounts for the structured craft and the controlled movements. But does it account for everything? This is where the debate gets truly fascinating. While the secret aircraft theory is strong, some elements of these sightings just don't seem to fit. Let's reconsider the pilot's encounter with the orb. The instantaneous acceleration. From a stationary hover to hypersonic speeds where talking speeds that would generate immense G, likely crushing any human pilot and tearing apart even the most robust airframe we can conceive of. Then there's the silence. Observers on the ground report these massive craft hovering just hundreds of feet above them with no audible engine noise. Not even the whisper of displaced air. Current propulsion technology, even the most advanced, makes noise. A lot of it. How can a craft the size of a football field, as some reports claim, hang in the air like a ghost? Furthermore, let's talk about the timing. Many of these strange sightings, particularly the most dramatic ones, seem to occur in clusters, often coinciding with periods of intense, unusual activity at the base. Locals and researchers have noted times when convoys of unmarked vehicles flood the area, or when strange, powerful radio signals are detected emanating from the direction of Groom Lake. It's as if they are testing something, and these lights are a byproduct, or perhaps the subject, of those tests. Could it be that our own military isn't just testing their own advanced craft, but are trying to interact with, or even reverse engineer, technology that isn't ours? This is the other theory, the one that takes us from the realm of top-secret engineering into the truly unknown. This brings us to the most provocative and tantalizing possibility of all, that some of these objects are not man-made. The idea that we are being visited by extraterrestrial or non-human intelligence is a heavy one, and for good reason. But when you strip away the tabloid sensationalism and look purely at the data points, it becomes a hypothesis that some serious researchers feel can't be dismissed. The observed flight characteristic silent hovering, right angle, turns at high speed. An instantaneous acceleration are often referred to as the 5 observably SAIV of UFO phenomena, characteristics that our known physics cannot currently explain or replicate. Consider the case of Bob Lazar, the controversial physicist who claimed in 1989 to have worked at a site near Area 51 called S4, where his job was to reverse engineer captured alien spacecraft. While his story is hotly debated and lacks hard evidence, his descriptions of the sport model flying saucer, its gravity-based propulsion system, and its flight capabilities eerily match the sightings that continue to be reported in the area to this day. Was Lazar telling the truth, or was he part of a sophisticated disinformation campaign designed to hide the true nature of the projects at Groom Lake? Either possibility is mind-boggling. The idea that the U.S. government might possess and be studying technology from another world is the ultimate secret. The kind of secret that would justify the extreme security measures we see at Area 51. So, we are left at a crossroads with two extraordinary possibilities. On one hand, we have the theory of black project aircraft. This suggests that deep within the Nevada desert, our brightest minds are creating technology so advanced it is indistinguishable from magic, technology that will redefine aviation and warfare for the next century. The lights in the sky are our own, a testament to human ingenuity, hidden behind a necessary veil of secrecy. On the other hand, we have the extraterrestrial hypothesis. This suggests that the secrets being kept at Area 51 are not of this world, that we are in possession of, or are interacting with. Technology from a non-human intelligence, The lights in the sky are visitors, and Area 51 is the focal point of humanity's most profound secret. Perhaps the truth is somewhere in the middle. Maybe some of the lights are our own advanced drones, while others are something else entirely. Maybe our own secret programs are a response to what has been observed in our skies for decades. The U.S. government itself has started to change its tune. The 2022 UAP Unidentified Aerial Phenomena Report acknowledged hundreds of incidents that it could not explain. High-ranking officials and fighter pilots are now on record describing encounters with objects that performed maneuvers impossible. For any known aircraft, the stigma is slowly fading, replaced by a serious, national security-level inquiry. What is happening above Area 51 is more than just a local curiosity. It could be a window into the future of technology, or a glimpse into our place in the cosmos. The silent, dancing lights over the R4808 and airspace represent a fundamental mystery. They are a puzzle being played out in the world's most controlled airspace. A hint that there are secrets far too big to be contained by fences and armed guards. Whether they are the ghosts of our own technological future or visitors from a distant star, one thing is certain. The skies of secrets are not empty. They are watching, waiting, and holding the answers to questions we are only just beginning to ask. Thank you so much for joining me on this journey into the heart of one of the world's greatest modern mysteries. What do you think is lighting up the skies above Area 51? Let me know your theories in the comments below. If you found this exploration as fascinating as I did, please hit that like button and subscribe for more deep dives into the unexplained. Stay curious and keep looking up. For decades, the name Area 51 whispered through the fringe communities, a myth spoken in hushed tones. If you looked it up on any official U.S. government map, you wouldn't find it. You'd just see a vast, empty expanse of Nevada desert. Official documents, heavily redacted, with black bars obscuring anything of substance. It was as if the place simply didn't exist. But in the vacuum of official information, a powerful narrative took root. This wasn't just an empty patch of sand. It was the epicenter of the greatest secret in human history. The government was hiding crashed alien spacecraft and their otherworldly pilots. This government's silence wasn't just a simple denial. It was a breeding ground for suspicion. Every redacted document, every no comment from a government official, was seen as another piece of evidence. The logic was simple. If there's nothing to hide, why go to such extraordinary lengths to hide it? The story of Area 51 became a modern legend, fueled by grainy photos, anonymous whistleblowers, and a deep-seated distrust of official stories. It was the ultimate conspiracy theory, a place where the mundane world of government bureaucracy met the fantastical realm of science fiction. The less the government said, the more the public believed there was something incredible they weren't being told. Then, in 2013, the impossible happened. The silence was broken. In a declassified report, the CIA officially acknowledged the existence of Area 51. After decades of denial, there it was, in black and white. The government finally admitted that the base was real. The document, titled the Central Intelligence Agency and Overhead Reconnaissance, the U-2 and Oxcart programs, laid out the base's true purpose. It wasn't a hangar for flying saucers, but a top-secret flight test facility. This was the birthplace of some of the most advanced spy planes ever built. Like the legendary U-2 and the A-12 Oxcart, the precursor to the SR-71 Blackbird. For skeptics and historians, this was vindication. The explanation made perfect sense. During the Cold War, the U.S. needed a remote, secure location to develop and test cutting-edge surveillance technology, far from the prying eyes of Soviet satellites. The strange lights and unidentified flying objects, reported by commercial pilots and locals, weren't alien visitors. They were test flights of these futuristic key-altitude aircraft. The U-2, for instance, flew at altitudes over 70,000 feet, far higher than any commercial airliner of the time. Its silver, reflective wings would catch the sun's rays long after it had set on the ground, creating a fiery, otherworldly glow that could easily be mistaken for a UFO. The mystery, it seemed, was solved. Area 51 was just a military base, a very secret one, but a terrestrial one nonetheless. The conspiracy was nothing more than a misunderstanding fueled by Cold War paranoia and a lack of information. But for the true believers, the 2013 admission was far from the end of the story. In fact, it was just the opposite. They saw it as a calculated half-truth, a strategic release of information designed to misdirect. The CIA's report was detailed, yes, but it was conspicuously silent on one key topic: aliens. The document never once addressed the decades of lore surrounding extraterrestrial technology. Why, they asked, would the government admit the base exists but completely ignore the very reason it's so famous? To believers, this wasn't an oversight, it was a deliberate omission. They argued that the government was throwing the public a boneless spy, planes to distract him from the real prize. The crashed saucer from Roswell, the alien bodies, the reverse-engineered technology. This perspective raises a compelling question. If they were willing to lie about the existence of the base for over 50 years, what else could they be lying about? The admission of the U-2 and A-12 programs proves that the government is capable of keeping massive, technologically advanced secrets for decades. If they could hide spy planes that redefined aviation, couldn't they just as easily hide something even more profound? The 2013 revelation didn't close the book on Area 51. For many, it just started a new, more intriguing chapter. It confirmed the existence of a secret, which only made people wonder what other secrets were still being kept. The government had finally spoken, but its silence on the biggest question of all was deafening. Let's dive deeper into the psychology of this. The government's strategy, whether intentional or not, created a perfect storm for conspiracy theories to flourish. That's a classic case of the Streisand effect. The attempt to hide or censor information only makes it more widespread and famous. By classifying the entire area and denying its existence, they inadvertently made it seem infinitely more important than a standard military installation. Think about it. There are hundreds of military bases across the country, many of them secret, but none have captured the public imagination like Area 51 DD was the complete and total denial. This absolute secrecy created a blank canvas, and human nature abhors a vacuum. People filled that void with the most exciting, fantastic story they could imagine. The 2013 declassification can be seen as a masterclass in controlled disclosure. The government didn't just say, "Okay, you caught us. The base is real." They released a detailed, specific narrative. They gave the public a concrete, plausible, and verifiable story about spy planes. This story was true, but was it the whole truth? By providing a satisfying explanation for the secrecy and the strange sightings, they effectively pacified the mainstream. The average person could now say, "Oh, so that's what it was," and move on. It was a way to manage the narrative, to replace a wild, uncontrollable conspiracy theory with a sanctioned, historical fact. It was a release of pressure, letting just enough steam out of the kettle to prevent it from boiling over, while keeping the lid firmly on whatever else might be inside. The timing of the release is also fascinating. Why? 2013. The Cold War had been over for more than 2 decades. The U-2 and A-12 programs were historical footnotes, their technology long since surpassed. Releasing this information posed no current national security risk. It was a safe secret to reveal. For believers, this is exactly the point. The government will only ever declassify things that are no longer relevant. So, if they are still silent about alien technology, it must mean that technology is still relevant, still secret, and still in use. The partial disclosures served as proof that the fortress of secrets still stands, even if one of its outer walls has been revealed. So, where does that leave us today? Area 51 remains one of the most heavily guarded places on Earth, even with the official admission. The airspace above it is restricted, and anyone who gets too close to its perimeter is met with armed guards. The secrecy continues. The 2013 revelation answered one big question, but created a dozen more. It confirmed our suspicions that the government was hiding something significant, but it left the ultimate nature of that secret tantalizingly unresolved. Was it just spy planes? Or was that just the cover story for a cover story? The truth, as they say, might be out there, but it's likely still locked away deep in the Nevada desert, paint fences, warning signs, and a wall of official silence. The story of Area 51 is a powerful reminder that sometimes what isn't said is far more interesting than what is. Thanks so much for watching. What do you think? Was the 2013 admission the full story, or just the tip of the iceberg? Let me know your theories in the comments below. And if you enjoyed digging into mysteries like this, make sure to hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications so you, Dan T, miss our next deep dive. See you in the next video. Ever wondered what's really going on behind the guarded gates of Area 51? We've all heard the stories, the whispers, the late-night radio calls. But let us push past the speculation and look at what insiders, people who have supposedly been there, have described. Forget the grainy photos and CGI for a moment. Imagine walking into a hangar, the air thick with secrecy, and seeing it. A craft, perfectly disc-shaped, sitting silently under the harsh fluorescent lights. These aren't just vague descriptions. Witnesses talk about specifics. They describe surfaces so seamless, you can't find a single rivet, weld, or joint. It's as if the entire thing was grown, not built. They run their hands over it, and it feels impossibly smooth, almost organic. The material is bizarrely light, far lighter than any known alloy, yet incredibly strong. You could try to scratch it, dent it, but it would be like trying to damage a diamond with a feather. Then there are the controls. No joysticks, no complex dashboard full of switches and dials like you'd see in a conventional aircraft. Instead, insiders speak of sleek, dark panels. When a hand is placed upon them, symbols and geometric patterns are said to light up from within, responding to the user's touch, maybe even their thoughts. Think of an interface that connects directly with the pilot's mind. Is this the next evolution of human-machine interface, or something not of this world? Some have even recounted seeing these panels do things that defy our current understanding of physics. Imagine a window that can shift its opacity from completely transparent to solid black in an instant, without any visible mechanism, or a central reactor, the craft's power source, that begins to glow with an intense, otherworldly light. It gives off no heat and isn't connected to any visible power cables. It just turns on. Of course, the immediate question is, what are these things? The logical, skeptical mind goes straight to advanced prototypes. After all, Area 51 has a well-documented history of being the birthplace of America's most revolutionary spy planes. Think of the U-2, the SR-71 Blackbird, and the A-12 These were aircraft so far ahead of their time that when they were first spotted, they were frequently mistaken for UFOs. Their designs were radical, their performance capabilities unheard of. So, it's entirely plausible that what's being described today is simply the next generation of top-secret terrestrial technology. A new stealth bomber. A hypersonic, reconnaissance drone. But here's where the craft conundrum really kicks in. The strangeness of these reported craft goes beyond just being advanced. It's the fundamental nature of their operation that fuels the more extraordinary theory's silent flight. How? Every aircraft we've ever built makes noise. Engines roar. Rotors chop the air. But these discs are described as moving with an eerie silence, gliding through the sky as if gravity is a suggestion, not a law. And the lack of visible propulsion systems is a huge red flag for conventional engineering. No jet engines, no propellers, no rocket nozzles. How do they generate thrust? How do they maneuver with such impossible speed and agility, making right-angled turns that would tear any normal plane and its pilot apart? This is where the line between top-secret prototype and extraterrestrial technology starts to blur. Could it be that Area 51 isn't just developing new planes, but also hiding something recovered? The idea of reverse engineering alien technology has been a cornerstone of UFO lore for decades. Proponents of this theory argue that it would explain the massive leaps in technology we've seen over the past 70 years. From fiber optics to microchips, could the seeds of our modern world have been planted in the wreckage of a craft from another star system? It's a tantalizing thought. It would explain the extreme secrecy, the need-to-know basis that extends even to the highest levels of government. If you were in possession of technology that could change the world for better or for worse, guard it with everything you have. The implications would be staggering, affecting everything from energy and transportation to religion and our very understanding of our place in the universe. But then we hit the wall of evidence, or rather, to lack of Italiano. In an age where everyone has a high-definition camera in their pocket, where satellites can read a license plate from space, how has Area 51 maintained such a perfect record of secrecy? For all the insiders, whistleblowers, and deathbed confessions, we have no concrete proof, no clear photographs, no leaked blueprints, no physical materials. This incredible lack of leaks, despite decades of intense public and private scrutiny, points to one of two possibilities. Possibility 1. The security at Area 51 is the most effective, most masterful operation in the history of secrecy. They have managed to create a fortress of information so impenetrable that nothing gets out. Every employee is vetted to an unimaginable degree, and the consequences for speaking out are so severe that no one dares to. Or, there's possibility 2, the one that's far less exciting. There's simply nothing extraordinary to hide. Perhaps the stories are a mix of exaggeration, misunderstanding of conventional but classified projects, and deliberate disinformation. The government might even encourage the alien rumors as the perfect cover story. If everyone is looking for little green men, they aren't paying attention to the next generation stealth fighter being tested right under their noses. It's the ultimate paradox. The very secrecy that makes Area 51 so fascinating is also what makes it impossible to know the truth. The stories from insiders paint a picture of technology so advanced it seems alien. Yet the basis history perfectly supports the idea of it being homegrown. The silent, engineless craft could be the result of a breakthrough in propulsion we can't yet imagine. Or it could be a visitor from another world. So, what really lies in those hangars? Are they filled with disc-shaped craft that defy our laws of physics? Or are they just home to the next generation of terrestrial aircraft, shrouded in a mythos that serves as the ultimate camouflage? The truth, for now, remains locked away. Behind the fences, the guards, and the warning signs of Area 51. The craft conundrum continues, leaving us all to wonder what is flying in the Nevada desert when no one is supposed to be watching. What do you think? Are we looking at advanced human tech, or something more? Let me know your theories down in the comments. Thanks for joining me on this deep dive. If you enjoyed this journey into the unknown, don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe for more mysteries, and ring that notification bell. Until next time, keep looking up. Have you ever stared up at the night sky and wondered if we're truly alone? For decades, one place on Earth has held the key to that question. Shrouded in secrecy and speculation, Area 51. We all know the name, the legends, the no trespassing signs. But tonight, we're not just talking about rumors. We're diving deep into the eyewitness accounts, the insider whispers, and the hard questions about what's really parked inside those heavily guarded hangars. Forget the little green men for a moment. Let's talk about the machines. Imagine this. A massive, windowless hangar in the middle of the Nevada desert. Inside, resting silently, is a craft unlike anything you've ever seen. It's perfectly smooth, a seamless disc-shaped object with no visible rivets, bolts, or joints. You run your hand over its surface, and it feels cool, almost organic. This isn't science fiction. This is the description given by multiple individuals who claim to have worked within the classified confines of Area 51. They speak of craft that defy our understanding of physics. These objects are described as being impossibly lightweight for their size, yet incredibly strong. There are no wings, no propellers, no jet engines. So, how do they fly? The stories get even stranger. Insiders talk about control panels that are completely dark and inert until a human hand touches them. Imagine a dashboard that literally comes to life, with symbols and controls appearing on a previously blank surface, responding directly to your thoughts or touch. This is the kind of technology we're talking about, a user interface. So advanced, it feels more like a living extension of the pilot than a machine. One of the most mind-bending accounts involves the very skin of these craft. Witnesses have described panels that can shift in opacity, going from solid metallic to completely transparent in an instant. Think of a cockpit with a 360-degree view, where the pilot can literally see through the floor beneath them as they fly. This isn't just an advanced display. It's a material that can change its fundamental properties on command. How is that possible with our current level of material science? And then there's the power source. Several accounts mention seeing reactors or power cores at the heart of these machines. But these aren't your typical nuclear reactors. They're described as glowing with an otherworldly light, emitting immense energy without any discernible fuel source, no exhaust, no heat signature, and most unnervingly, no sound. The hallmark of these supposed craft is their silent operation. They can allegedly hover, accelerate to impossible speeds, and make rectangle turns without making a whisper. This completely violates our known principles of propulsion. Every action should have an equal and opposite reaction, which usually involves a lot of noise and hot gas being thrown out the back. These machines, however, seem to operate on a different set of rules entirely. Now, the skeptics, and it's important to be skeptical, will rightly point out that Area 51 has a long and documented history of developing top-secret next-generation aircraft. This is the birthplace of the U-2 spy plane, the SR-71 Blackbird, and the F-117 Nighthawk stealth fighter. Each of these planes was so far ahead of its time that when people first saw them, they were often mistaken for UFOs. The A-12, the precursor to the Blackbird, looked like something from another world in the 1960s. So, is it possible that what these insiders saw were simply the next evolution of human-made secret projects? Absolutely. It's plausible that we've developed some form of advanced gravitational or electromagnetic propulsion. The shifting panels could be an incredibly advanced form of active camouflage or display. Technology. The touch-responsive controls could be the next leap in human-machine interface. The U.S. military is always, without a doubt, working on technology that is 20 to 30 years ahead of what the public knows. These hangars could simply be housing the future of aerial warfare. A new generation of spy planes or unmanned drones, so revolutionary they would change the global balance of power overnight. Hiding this kind of technology would be a top national security priority, justifying the extreme secrecy. But here's where the advanced prototype theory starts to wobble. Some of these accounts date back decades. If we had this technology in the 80s or 90s, where is it now? Why haven't we seen scaled-down commercial versions of it? Why hasn't this silent, gravity-defying propulsion revolutionized our military and civilian transport? The sheer leap in technology described is not just a step. It's a quantum jump. It's like going from a horse-drawn carriage straight to a teleportation device, skipping the car and the airplane entirely. This leads us to the most tantalizing and controversial possibility, that these craft are not ours. The theory that Area 51 is a storage and reverse engineering facility for recovered extraterrestrial vehicles is the elephant in the room. Could it be that an object, like the one allegedly recovered in Roswell in 1947, was brought here to be studied? If you had a piece of technology from a civilization potentially thousands of years more advanced than our own, you wouldn't just hide it. You would dedicate your best minds to taking it apart, understanding it, and replicating it. This would explain the secrecy, the bizarre descriptions of the technology, and why it seems so far beyond our own capabilities. Think about it. Trying to understand an alien spacecraft with our current scientific knowledge would be like giving a smartphone to a scientist from the 1800s. They might figure out some basic functions, but understanding the microprocessor, the lithium-ion battery, and the wireless communication protocol would be nearly impossible. They might be able to turn it on, see the strange lights, but making it do what it's designed to do, or building one themselves, that would take generations of work. This could explain why, even if we have these craft, we haven't been able to fully master their technology. The biggest argument against all of this, of course, is the complete lack of concrete proof. In a world where everyone has a high-definition camera in their pocket, where are the photos? Where are the leaked documents? Despite decades of intense public and private scrutiny, not one verifiable photograph or piece of hardware has ever made it outside the base's perimeter. This is either a testament to the most successful and flawless security operation in human history, or it's the simplest explanation of all. There's nothing extraordinary to see. Maybe the stories are just a combination of exaggeration, misunderstanding of advanced but human technology, and outright fabrication. The secrecy itself has become a self-perpetuating myth-making machine. The government's historic refusal to even acknowledge the base's existence until 2013 only added fuel to the fire. By creating a vacuum of information, they allowed speculation and conspiracy to fill the void. Perhaps the greatest secret of Area 51 is that there is no great secret. Maybe the stories of alien craft are the perfect cover for the real work being done. They're testing next generation weapon systems that they do want their adversaries, or the American public, to know about. What better way to distract people than with tales of flying saucers? So, what are we left with? We have credible, yet unverified, eyewitness accounts of technology that breaks the known laws of physics. We have a location with a documented history of developing revolutionary, world-changing aircraft, and we have a complete and total absence of hard evidence. The truth, whatever it may be, remains locked behind the gates of Area 51, buried under layers of classification and armed guards. Is it advanced human tech? Is it reverse-engineered alien craft? Or is it all just a grand illusion? The mystery endures, and it forces us to keep asking questions and keep looking up. What do you believe is hiding in the Nevada desert? Let me know your theories in the comments below. I read every single one, and if you enjoy diving into mysteries like this, make sure to hit that like button and subscribe for more deep dives into the unknown. Thanks for watching, and stay curious. Hello, truth seekers, and welcome back to the channel where we dive deep into the world's greatest mysteries. Today, we're journeying into the Nevada desert, but not to the sun-scorched surface you see on maps. We're going underground, exploring the whispers and legends of Area 51's subterranean labyrinth. For decades, this top-secret base has been the epicenter of UFO lore. But what if the most shocking secrets aren't in the hangars, but bury miles beneath the sand? The stories paint a picture that's straight out of science fiction. Insiders, speaking under the cloak of anonymity, describe a sprawling network of tunnels, not just narrow corridors, but massive subterranean highways wide enough for heavy-duty trucks to pass side by side. These aren't just for transportation. They are said to be arteries connecting a city of hidden laboratories, each dedicated to a different piece of an extraterrestrial puzzle. Imagine a world where the hum of advanced technology echoes off concrete walls, far from the prying eyes of satellites and the ears of spies. One of the most persistent and electrifying tales comes from a former contractor. He claimed he was escorted through one of these tunnels to a vast, cavernous chamber. In the center, he saw a glowing object, a reactor of some kind, humming with immense power but connected to nothing. There were no wires, no visible fuel source. It just was. Its purpose was a complete mystery, but the air around it crackled with energy. Was this reverse-engineered alien technology? A power source, unlike anything known to mainstream science. The man was quickly moved along, his questions met with stony silence, but the image was seared into his memory forever. It's easy to dismiss these as tall tales, the stuff of late-night radio shows. But then, there's the data. Independent seismologists have, for years, detected unusual tremors originating from the Groom Lake area. These aren't natural earthquakes. They're rhythmic, controlled, and consistent with large-scale underground excavation. It's as if someone is constantly digging, expanding, building something immense just beneath the surface. When you correlate these seismic signatures with the timeline of alleged black projects, a fascinating pattern begins to emerge. And it's not just what's happening underground. It is what is happening on the surface that hints at the scale of this hidden world. Eagle-eyed researchers using satellite imagery have pointed out bizarre anomalies. Roads that lead directly into the side of a mountain and just disappear. Massive ventilation shafts disguised as natural rock formations, pumping out heated air from deep below. Entire construction sites that appear overnight and then vanish, leaving behind only freshly graded earth. These aren't your typical military construction projects. The level of camouflage and misdirection is unprecedented. Skeptics argue these are simply standard bunkers for developing conventional, human-made technology. After all, Every secure military installation has underground components. They'd say it's for protecting sensitive weapons research from espionage or attack. And that's a fair point. The Cold War spurred a massive boom in bunker construction, but the sheer scale and extreme secrecy surrounding Area 51's underground facilities seem to go far beyond standard military protocol. Think about the security measures described by those who have been near the base. It's not just fences and warning signs. We're talking about biometric scanners that read your retina, pressure plates in the floors, and armed guards who don't just escort you, they shadow your every move. Access is granted on a need-to-know basis so strict that people working in adjacent labs might have no idea what the other is doing. This level of compartmentalization is designed to protect something truly extraordinary. You don't build a fortress like this to hide a new type of jet engine. You build it to hide something that could change the world. Let's consider the logic. If the US government had recovered an alien spacecraft, say, from Roswell or another alleged crash site, where would they take it? Leaving it on the surface, even in a secure hangar, is a risk. Satellites can see through roofs with the right technology. Spies can infiltrate. The only way to guarantee absolute secrecy would be to take it deep underground. Miles deep. In a facility cut off from the outside world, where scientists could dissect, analyze, and attempt to reverse engineer otherworldly technology without any possibility of discovery. If alien bodies were recovered, this is where they would be stored and studied, far from public view and ethical debate. The underground labyrinth of Area 51 is the perfect, logical solution for hiding the greatest secret in human history. The stories continue to leak out, each adding another layer to the mythos. Tales of non-human personnel working alongside human scientists. Reports of massive elevators that descend dozens of levels into the earth. Whispers of a museum of recovered artifacts. A gallery of alien technology cataloged and stored away. Are these fantastical embellishments, or fragments of a truth so strange it's easier to disbelieve? The line between fact and fiction at Area 51 has always been blurry, but the sheer volume of testimony, from credible military personnel to anonymous whistleblowers, is hard to ignore completely. While skeptics demand concrete proof, believers argue the proof is in the absence of evidence, the deafening silence from the government, the aggressive denial, the extreme measures taken to keep us all out. The desert's surface remains quiet and unassuming, a blank canvas upon which we project our fears and hopes. But the real story, the one that could redefine our place in the universe, may be unfolding right now, in the silent humming darkness of the labyrinth beneath. What do you think is really going on down there? Are these just elaborate bunkers for top-secret human tech? Or is Area 51 guarding the secrets of the cosmos? Let me know your theories in the comments below. Thanks for joining me on this journey into the unknown. If you enjoyed this deep dive, don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe, and ring the bell so you never miss an exploration. Until next time, keep looking up and keep questioning. Have you ever stared up at the night sky and wondered, are we truly alone? For decades, one place on Earth has been at the very heart of that question. Area 51, we all know the stories of strange lights and advanced aircraft. But today, we're not looking at the sky. We're looking at something far more profound. Something locked away deep within its hidden hangars. We're asking the biological question. Does Area 51 hold the remains of extraterrestrial visitors? Let's start with the whispers, the stories that have leaked out from behind the classified curtain for over 70 years. They don't just talk about metal and machinery. They talk about flesh and bone. Or at least, something like it. The most persistent and unsettling rumors describe clandestine autopsies. The subjects, small, gray-skinned figures, barely 4 feet tall, with frail bodies, stick-like limbs, and disproportionately large, hairless heads. Their most striking feature, according to these accounts, are their enormous, black, almond-shaped eyes that seem to absorb all light. These aren't just vague campfire tales. They are detailed descriptions that have been repeated with eerie consistency by individuals who claim to have been there. Imagine the scene these sources paint: a sterile, windowless room, deep underground. Scientists and military doctors, sworn to the highest levels of secrecy, hunched over a stainless steel table. Under the harsh glare of surgical lights lies a being not of this world, The air is thick with a strange, antiseptic odor mixed with something else. Something alien. These alleged examinations weren't just a quick look-see. The stories speak of detailed biological analysis, attempts to understand a physiology completely foreign to our own. How do they breathe? What is their circulatory system like? What is the structure of their brain, which seems so incredibly advanced? The Tylees claim these remains are preserved, stored in specially designed, hermetically sealed vaults, kept at cryogenic temperatures to prevent decay, a biological archive of a species that crossed the stars. Of course, it's easy to dismiss these as fantasy. But what happens when the stories come from people who had no reason to lie? People whose lives were turned upside down by what they saw. Consider the story of a contractor, a man hired for a highly specialized construction job within the facility's most restricted zones. He claimed that one evening, while working late in a lab he wasn't supposed to be in, he saw it. A gurney, parked in a corner, with a form lying on it, completely covered by a white sheet. The shape was small, childlike in size, but the outline of the head was unmistakably large and oblong. He didn't dare pull back the sheet. The feeling in the room, he said, was one of profound reverence and fear. He left quickly, his heart pounding. When he returned the next morning, the gunny and the sheet-covered form were gone. There was no trace it had ever been there. He was later debriefed, forced to sign additional non-disclosure agreements, and warned never to speak of anything he might have seen. Was it just a piece of equipment? A test dummy? He was certain it wasn't. The weight, the stillness, the sheer presence of it felt biological. These Tylees are inextricably linked to the legendary Roswell incident of 1947. The official story shifted from a flying disc to a simple weather balloon in less than 24 hours. But many researchers believe the wreckage, and more importantly, the occupants of that craft, were secretly transported to the most secure facility available at the time, which would eventually evolve into the Area 51 complex we know today. The bodies from Roswell, according to this theory, became the foundation of this secret biological program. It wasn't just a single event. Other alleged crash retrievals over the decades, from Kingman, Arizona, to the plains of New Mexico, may have added to this collection, Area 51. Therefore, isn't just a testing ground for spy planes. It's a morgue for the cosmos. Naturally, there's a strong counter-argument. Skeptics, and indeed the official government position, offer more mundane explanations. The alien bodies could have been anthropomorphic test dummies. In the 1950s, the Air Force conducted high-altitude balloon experiments, like Project High Dive, which used dummies to test ejection seats and parachutes. These figures, dropped from incredible heights, could certainly look otherworldly after impact, especially to an untrained observer. Damaged and disfigured, they might be mistaken for non-human entities. The secrecy surrounding these projects, which were testing technology for spy planes like the U-2, would have only fueled the speculation. A rancher, finding a mangled, metallic-looking dummy in the middle of nowhere could easily let their imagination run wild. Furthermore, the power of hoaxes and disinformation cannot be underestimated. In a place as secret as Area 51, it's a perfect breeding ground for tall Tylees. Some stories may have been deliberately fabricated and leaked by intelligence agencies themselves to muddy the waters, to create a smokescreen of UFO mania, to hide the very real but there is advanced technology they were developing. If everyone is looking for little green men, they're not paying attention to the next generation stealth bomber being tested right over their heads. It's a classic misdirection tactic. Yet, despite these logical explanations, the consistency of the eyewitness accounts is what gives pause. We're not just talking about one or two people. The stories come from a wide range of alleged insiders. Medics, security guards, engineers, janitors, people from different backgrounds, with different roles, across different decades, all describing strikingly similar things. They speak of the smell, the texture of the skin, the lack of a familiar bone structure. Psychologists will tell you that, while individual memories can be faulty, when multiple independent witnesses describe the same unusual details, it becomes statistically less likely to be pure coincidence or mass hysteria. It's this collective testimony that forms the bedrock of the biological question. So, let's indulge the possibility for a moment. If it's true, if Area 51 does hold alien remains, what would be the purpose? The implications are staggering. It would be the single greatest scientific discovery in human history. By studying their physiology, we could unlock secrets that would revolutionize our own biology and medicine. How do their cells regenerate? Is their DNA structured differently? Do they have vulnerabilities we could learn from? Or strengths we could emulate? Understanding their physical form could also be the key to understanding their technology, the design of their craft, the way their control interfaces work, even the gravitational forces they can withstand, might all be directly linked to their unique biology. The ship might be an extension of the pilot's own body. To reverse engineer the craft, you must first understand its creator. In the end, the truth remains locked away in the Nevada desert, guarded by signs, sensors, and soldiers. We are left with a fascinating puzzle. On one side, we have compelling, consistent, and often first-hand accounts of something truly extraordinary. On the other, we have plausible deniability, logical explanations involving test dummies, and the well-documented use of disinformation. Is Area 51 a biological archive, holding the keys to the universe? Or is it simply the world's most effective stage for a grand illusion, designed to protect far more earthly secrets? Perhaps the answer is somewhere in between. But until the day the vaults are finally opened, the biological question will continue to haunt the edges of our reality. A tantalizing whisper from another world. Thanks so much for joining me on this deep dive into one of America's greatest mysteries. What do you believe? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. And if you enjoy exploring the unexplained, make sure to hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications so you want to miss our next adventure. See you next time. Ever heard of a substance so powerful it could bend the very fabric of space and time? Today, we're diving deep into one of the most compelling and controversial mysteries of our time. Element 115. Is it the key to interstellar travel, a piece of extraterrestrial technology, or just a science fiction fantasy? Stick around as we separate the facts from the fiction. The story of Element 115 is inseparable from one man, Bob Lazar. Back in 1989, Lazar burst onto the scene with an incredible claim. He said he worked at a secret facility near Area 51, a site known as S4, where his job was to reverse engineer captured alien spacecraft. According to Lazar, the heart of these flying saucers was a small reactor powered by a mysterious, super heavy element, Element 115. So, what did Lazar say this element could do? He described it as a stable, heavy metal, unlike anything found on Earth. When bombarded with protons in a reactor, it would produce antimatter. This antimatter would then annihilate with matter, creating an immense energy output. But here's where it gets really wild. This energy, according to Lazar, didn't just propel the craft. It generated its own intense gravitational field. By amplifying and directing this gravity, the craft could literally warp space-time, allowing it to travel vast interstellar distances in an instant, silently and without any apparent propulsion. Imagine a craft that doesn't fly asterisk through asterisk space, but rather creates a distortion in space that it falls into. That was the revolutionary concept Lazar introduced. For years, Lazar's claims were dismissed by the scientific community. A key reason was that Element 115 didn't officially exist. On the periodic table, it was just a theoretical placeholder. Skeptics had a field day. How could he have worked with an element that hadn't even been discovered? This was the biggest hole in his story, and for many, it was enough to label him a fraud. But then, something happened that made people look again. In 2003, a team of Russian and American scientists at the Joint Institute for Nuclear Research in Russia finally succeeded in synthesizing Element 115. However, there's a major catch. The moscovium created in the lab is incredibly unstable. Its most stable known isotope has a half-life of less than a second before it decays into other elements. This is a far cry from the dense, stable metal pucks Lazar described. Scientists argue that based on our current understanding of nuclear physics, a stable version of Element 115, a so-called island of stability, is highly unlikely to exist, and if it did, would be exceptionally difficult to create. This is where the debate gets really heated. Supporters of Lazar argue that the element he worked with was of extraterrestrial origin, sourced from a star system where heavy elements are much more common. They suggest that this alien version of element 115 has a different isotopic makeup, placing it squarely within the theoretical island of stability that our own science has yet to reach. This would explain why it's stable and possesses the incredible properties he described. Could it be that alien technology is simply centuries or even millennia ahead of our own? Insiders and whistleblowers, who remain anonymous, have occasionally come forward with stories that echo Lazar's. They speak of secret underground labs where exotic materials are studied, materials that defy conventional physics. They describe metals that can become transparent, change mass, or generate their own energy fields. While these stories are impossible to verify, they add fuel to the fire, painting a picture of a hidden world of science operating far beyond what the public knows. These alleged insiders claim that element 115 is the crown jewel of Area 51's collection, guarded more fiercely than any nuclear weapon. Let's think about the implications for a moment. If a stable form of element 115 truly exists and is in our possession, it would change everything. It's not just about flying saucers. A portable, powerful energy source like the one Lazar described could solve the world's energy crisis overnight. It would make fossil fuels obsolete. The ability to manipulate gravity would revolutionize not just travel, but construction, engineering, and our fundamental understanding of the universe. It would be the single greatest discovery in human history. So why would such a groundbreaking technology be kept secret? The official narrative would be national security. The government that controls this technology would have an insurmountable military and economic advantage. No nation would want its adversaries to possess gravity-bending warships or limitless energy. But there's also the societal impact, the revelation that we are not alone in the universe, and that we possess alien technology would shatter religious, social, and economic structures across the globe. Some argue the secrecy is to prevent widespread panic and a total collapse of society as we know it. On the other hand, skeptics present a more grounded perspective. They argue that Bob Lazar's story, while fascinating, is full of inconsistencies. They point out that his claimed educational background from MIT and Caltech has no official records. They suggest that the scientific details he provides, while sounding plausible to a layperson, don't hold up to expert scrutiny. To them, element 115 is just a convenient, sci-fi plot device that Lazar used to make his story sound more credible. They believe the entire legend is a masterful piece of modern folklore, a myth that perfectly captures our fascination with Area 51 and the unknown. So, where does that leave us? We have two compelling narratives. One is of a brave whistleblower revealing a secret that could change humanity's destiny, a secret centered on a miraculous alien element. The other is of a clever storyteller who tapped into a cultural obsession, weaving a tale that was just believable enough to become a legend. The truth about element 115 remains locked away, perhaps deep within the vaults of Area 51, or perhaps only in the pages of science fiction. Is it the key that will unlock the stars for humanity? Or is it simply a myth that keeps the UFO legend burning brighter than ever? The mystery is what makes it so powerful. It forces us to question the limits of our own knowledge and to wonder what secrets might lie just beyond our reach, waiting to be discovered. What do you think? Is Bob Lazar telling the truth? Does a stable, powerful version of element 115 exist? Let me know your theories in the comments below. I'd love to hear what you think about this incredible story. Thanks for joining me on this deep dive into one of the biggest mysteries of our time. If you enjoyed this video and want to explore more unexplained phenomena and secret histories, make sure to hit that like button and subscribe to the channel. And don't forget to ring the notification bell so you never miss an update. Until next time, keep looking up. Have you ever stared up at the night sky and wondered what secrets it holds? In the vast, empty expanse of the Nevada desert, there's a place that has captured the imagination of millions. A place shrouded in so much mystery that its very name has become synonymous with the unknown. Area 51. For decades, it was a ghost, a military installation the government denied even existed. But the more they tried to hide it, the more our imaginations ran wild. This secrecy created a strange paradox. The tighter the security, the more fantastical the stories became. What exactly are they protecting with such extreme measures? Is it just advanced military aircraft, the next generation of spy planes and drones? Or is it something else? Something not of this world? This question is the heart of the Area 51 enigma. It's a place where the line between national security and otherworldly secrets blurs into a captivating mystery. Over the years, a few brave or perhaps reckless individuals have come forward, claiming to be former insiders. They've whispered tales of reverse engineering, alien technology, of seeing things that defy our understanding of physics. Men like Bob Lazar have risked their credibility, their careers, and even their safety to tell their stories. They speak of advanced propulsion systems, of gravity-defying craft, and of materials unknown to modern science. Yet, their accounts often lack the one thing we crave most: concrete proof. Their employment records are erased, their stories are dismissed as fabrication, and they are left as lone voices in the wilderness of speculation. Are they whistleblowers telling a truth too big to handle? Or are they just masterful storytellers? The skies above the Nevada test and training range are a constant theater of strange phenomena. Locals and dedicated skywatchers report bizarre lights, moving at impossible speeds and performing maneuvers that no known aircraft can replicate. They describe silent, glowing orbs and triangular craft that hover motionless before vanishing in an instant. The official explanation is always the same: military exercises, flares, drones, or experimental aircraft. And that's plausible. After all, Area 51 is home to some of the most advanced aviation technology on the planet, like the U-2 spy plane and the F-117 Nighthawk stealth fighter. But for every explainable sighting, there's another that defies conventional logic, leaving us to wonder if we're seeing a top-secret terrestrial project or a glimpse of something truly alien. The legends don't just stay in the sky, they go deep underground. Rumors persist of vast, subterranean facilities, multi-level vaults dug deep into the desert floor. What could they be hiding down there? Some believe these underground bunkers hold the remnants of the alleged Roswell crash of 1947, the wreckage of a flying saucer, and perhaps even its extraterrestrial occupants. It's a tantalizing thought. A hidden morgue for beings from another world, a laboratory where scientists study technology centuries ahead of our own. The government, of course, remains silent. These could simply be secure storage for sensitive prototypes and weapon systems. But without transparency, the void is filled with our most profound questions and wildest theories. For the longest time, the U.S. government's official stance on Area 51 was complete denial. It simply wasn't on any public map. Then, in 2013, a declassified CIA report finally acknowledged its existence. The documents confirmed it was a testing site for the U-2 and A-12 Oxcart surveillance programs during the Cold War. It was a landmark admission, a crack in the wall of secrecy. However, the report conveniently ignored the decades of UFO lore. It explained the what and the where, but completely sidestepped the what if. This selective transparency only fueled more suspicion. By admitting the base existed but ignoring the alien-sized elephant in the room, they left the most compelling part of the mystery untouched and, in doing so, made it even more intriguing. Let's entertain the most extraordinary possibility for a moment. What if it's all true? What if, locked away in the Nevada desert, our government holds proof of extraterrestrial life? The implications would be what? It would redefine our place in the cosmos, challenge our religious and philosophical beliefs, and potentially usher in a new era of technology. The security around Area 51 would then make perfect sense. How do you prepare 7 billion people for a reality that sounds like science fiction? The potential for mass panic, social upheaval, and the weaponization of alien technology would be immense. In this scenario, the secrecy isn't just about protecting a military base. It is about protecting the very fabric of our society from a truth it might not be ready to handle. But we must also consider the more down-to-earth explanation. Area 51 is, without a doubt, a critical hub for developing next-generation military technology. In a world of global competition and espionage, secrecy is paramount. The strange lights and unconventional aircraft could be the prototypes of hypersonic jets, advanced drones, or energy weapons that will define the future of warfare. The alien mythos provides the perfect cover. What better way to distract from your most advanced secrets than to let people believe they re-related to little green men? Every UFO story, every conspiracy theory helps to obscure the real work being done, creating a smokescreen of speculation that conceals tangible, terrestrial secrets. Every now and then, new satellite images reveal changes at the base. New runways are paved, massive new hangars are constructed, and the perimeter expands. Each new development reignites the debate. Is this new structure for housing a captured alien craft? Or is it for assembling a new secret bomber? Each strange light in the sky, each newly leaked rumor, pulls us back to the central question. Area 51 stands as a monument to secrecy, a place where reality and myth are so intertwined that they become impossible to separate. So, what is the unseen truth of Area 51? Is it a marvel of military engineering, pushing the boundaries of human innovation to protect a nation? Or is it the ultimate vault, holding the proof that we are not alone in the universe? The honest answer is, we don't know. And perhaps that's the point. The mystery itself is what keeps us looking up, questioning, and dreaming of what lies beyond the horizon. The truth is out there, but at Area 51, it's guarded by fences, guns, and a deep, abiding silence. Thank you so much for joining me on this journey into the heart of one of the world's greatest mysteries. If you enjoyed this deep dive, don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and ring the notification bell so you won't miss our next exploration into the unknown. What do you believe is hidden at Area 51? Let me know your theories in the comments below. Start with visuals of a vast, empty desert at dawn, sun cresting the horizon. The sun rises over the Nevada desert, casting long shadows across a landscape of stark, silent beauty. This is Groom Lake, Mos. It's just a dry lake bed, but to the world. It est, the heart of one of the planet S most enduring mysteries, Area 51, for decades. This patch of sand and scrub has been the epicenter of stories that blur the line between science fiction and classified fact. The official name is the Nevada Test and Training Range, a detachment of Edwards Air Force Base, but that mundane title does little to quell the whispers, the theories, and the relentless curiosity about what truly happens behind its heavily guarded perimeter. Today, we're journeying into the heart of that mystery. We'll peel back the layers of secrecy, sift through declassified documents, and explore the eyewitness accounts that have fueled global fascination. What began as a remote testing site for spy planes has morphed into the world's most famous, non-secret, secret base. So, what's the real story? Are we looking at a simple case of military innovation, or is there something else hidden beneath the desert floor? Let's find out. To understand Area 51, you have to go back to the Cold War. In the early 1950s, the world was a chessboard of tension between the United States and the Soviet Union. Espionage was paramount. President Eisenhower needed a way to see what was happening behind the Iron Curtain without triggering World War III. The answer was a revolutionary new aircraft, a high-altitude reconnaissance plane that could fly higher than any Soviet fighter or missile could. Reached out, this project needed a home, a place far from prying eyes, a place so remote it was practically off the map. Enter Kelly Johnson, the legendary Skunk Works engineer from Lockheed. He and a test pilot flew over Nevada and spotted what he later described as a perfect, natural landing field. It was Groom Lake. The location was ideal, remote, secure, and adjacent to an existing nuclear testing site. It offered the perfect cover. In 1955, under the code name Project Aquatone, construction began. Area 51 was born, not to study aliens, but to build the U-2 spy plane. The U-2 was unlike anything the world had ever seen. With its massive wingspan and slender fuselage, it looked almost alien itself. It could soar to over 70,000 feet, an altitude once thought impossible. As test flights began, something unexpected happened. Reports of unidentified flying objects, or UFOs, began pouring in from commercial airline pilots and local residents. People were seeing strange, fast-moving lights high in the evening sky. Think about it from their perspective. In the 1950s, passenger jets flew at around 20,000 feet. As the UD program gave way to even more advanced projects, the legend of Area 51 grew. The 1960s brought the A-12 Oxcart and its successor, the SR-71 Blackbird. These were titanium-skinned marvels, capable of flying at more than 3 times the speed of sound. Their futuristic delta-winged shapes, often test-flown at dusk or dawn to avoid satellite detection, looked utterly otherworldly. Imagine being a traveler on a lonely Nevada highway and seeing a black, boomerang-shaped craft streak across the sky faster than any known aircraft. It's no wonder the UFO stories persisted and evolved. The base itself expanded. More hangars, longer runways, and an ever-growing network of facilities hinted at the scale of operations. The secrecy became legendary. The perimeter was patrolled by anonymous guards in white pickup trucks, known affectionately by UFO hunters as the Camo Dudes. Warning signs promised the use of deadly force. The airspace above was, and still is, the most restricted in the world. This iron curtain of secrecy had a powerful effect. It acted as a vacuum, and human nature abhors a vacuum. Into that void rushed speculation, imagination, and the story that would define Area 51 forever. That story belongs to a man named Bob Lazar. In 1989, Lazar appeared on a Las Vegas news station, his identity disguised, and told a tale that would ignite a firestorm of controversy. He claimed to have worked at a facility called located a few miles south of Groom Lake. His job, he said, was to reverse engineer the propulsion systems of captured extraterrestrial craft. He described 9 flying saucers stored in hangars, built into the side of a mountain. He spoke of a mysterious power source, an element with an atomic number of 100, which created gravity waves to propel the craft. Lazar's story was incredibly detailed and captivating. He provided technical specifications, described the inner workings of the alien technology, and painted a vivid picture of a government project far beyond public comprehension. To believers, he was a courageous whistleblower, risking everything to tell the truth. To skeptics, his story was full of holes. Investigators couldn't verify his claimed degrees from MIT or Caltech. His employment records were a mess. But Lazar's supporters argue that the government, in its effort to discredit him, erased his past. They wiped the records clean to make him look like a fraud. Regardless of its authenticity, the Bob Lazar story transformed Area 51 from a secret military base into the heart of a modern myth. It gave a name, a face, and a narrative to the vague UFO sightings. Suddenly, it wasn't just about strange lights. It was about alien bodies, crashed saucers from Roswell, and a secret treaty between humans and extraterrestrials. The pop culture image of Area 51 was cemented. For years, the U.S. government maintained a strict policy of no comment. They wouldn't even acknowledge the base's existence. On maps, it was a blank space. When asked directly, officials would deflect. This absolute denial only fueled more speculation. If it was just a normal airbase, why not just say so? The secrecy itself became the most compelling evidence that something extraordinary was happening there. This wall of silence finally began to crack in 2013. In response to a Freedom of Information Act request, the CIA officially declassified documents that, for the first time, acknowledged the existence and location of Area 51. The documents confirmed its role in the development of the U-2 and A-1 reconnaissance programs. It was a landmark moment. The government was finally admitting the base was real. However, the declassified information only covered its historical activities up to the 1970s. Everything that has happened since the development of stealth technology like the F-117, Nighthawk, and the B-2 bomber, and whatever's being tested there today remains shrouded in the highest levels of classification. And that's the core of the issue. The absence of proof isn't proof of absence. While the original UFO sightings can be explained by secret aircraft, what about today? We now live in an age of satellite imagery and digital communication. Yet, Area 51 remains a black hole. We can see the base from space, the runways, the hangars, the strange structures, but we can't see inside. We don't know what happens after those hangar doors roll shut. Bodden-Day myth makers suggest that the alien story is the perfect cover. Perhaps the government encourages the UFO narrative because it distracts from the real secret. The development of next-generation autonomous drones, hypersonic weapons, or energy systems that could change the world. An alien story is far more entertaining and far less alarming to adversaries than the truth about a new weapon that could render their defenses obsolete. The desert's greatest secret might not be what came from the stars, but what we are capable of creating right here on Earth. Today, the hangars at Groom Lake are silent, at least to our ears. The runways stretch out, waiting, but something is happening there. The United States continues to pour billions of dollars into black projects, classified programs whose very existence is denied, and Area 51 remains the logical place to test them. What moves in those skies at night? Are they the successors to the Blackbird? Are they silent, unmanned drones on missions we can't even imagine? Or is there a kernel of truth to the wilder stories? The desert holds its secrets close. The sand and the silence are the perfect guardians. Until the day the gates are thrown open and the archives are fully declassified, we are left to wonder. We are left with the stories, the grainy photos, the late-night radio calls, and the profound, unanswered questions. What lies beneath the sand? What secrets are locked away in those hidden depths? And will the Nevada desert ever truly reveal its final, most tantalizing secret? Perhaps some secrets are meant to keep us looking up at the sky, dreaming of what might be. Thank you so much for joining me on this journey into the mystery of Area 51. It as a topic, where fact and fiction are constantly at war, and the truth is often stranger than you can imagine. If you enjoyed this deep dive, please hit that like button, and don't forget to subscribe and turn on notifications so you won't miss our next exploration into the unknown. We'll see you in the next video.